All right, good morning, everyone. This is, or it could be actually good afternoon or evening, depending on where you're joining us from. So either way, I'm really, really glad that you guys are here. For those of you who are brand new to my world, my name is Heather Bors, and I am joining you from the North Woods of Wisconsin, USA. I am the founder of Wilder Profits, a business and community where I guide and support moms who want to build something meaningful from their home without sacrificing her sanity or her family or her happiness. So before we dive in, I do want to highlight my collaboration partner and co-host, John Lewis. He's coming from all the way from South Africa today. This is our second collaboration together. And if you guys are already inside of his ThriveLine Circle community, you already know how brilliant he is. And while my community tends to focus on supporting women entrepreneurs, John supports a more broad entrepreneurial space, helping both men and women who are building their purpose-driven businesses. So if you are meeting him for the first time today, just know that he is the one who keeps me on my toes and makes these collaborations like this not only possible, but better. He's constantly encouraging me to explore new ways to show up and to expand the reach of events like this. And I am truly grateful for the way that his strengths and my strengths, how they just complement each other so well.
Thank you so much, Heather. I appreciate that. Such a kind introduction. Yes, yeah, some of you I've seen before, and just going forward, so many more great collaborations coming to the table as well. We've been doing a lot of outreach, and we've got a lot happening inside Wilder Profits and in ThriveLines, where we're just going to open things up completely in a no gatekeeping sort of rule. We've got authors, we've got software specialists, we've got business coaches, we've got people from Dubai all the way through to America, and that's all going to be coming through to you between now and about February next year. So thank you for the warm welcome.
It's going to be a crazy lineup. That's all I got to say. Okay, but today we're going to talk to you about the platform that has a lot of entrepreneurs either checking it out or they even haven't discovered it yet. So if they have discovered it, they're kind of going, okay, now what? What do I do with this? And sometimes they kind of feel a little bit stuck, which is a common thing when you're getting ready to build out your website. So today we're going to walk you through why we chose this specific platform that we've chosen, how we use it, and a shortcut for creating stunning, fully customizable websites without starting from scratch. And to help us do that, we have an extremely wonderful and special guest, Maria Saracen. She is someone that I leaned on for a lot of help and so much inspiration when I was building out my own website. And I practically stole her system. So she is a New England Emmy award-winning television producer, a professional copywriter, a brand strategist, and she has been designing websites since 2004. So she comes with a wealth of knowledge. She has an amazing way of taking something that feels really complicated and really simplifying it into something that is completely beautiful and totally doable, even for the people that don't consider themselves to be very techy. So without further ado, Maria, you are on the floor.
Thank you so much. And I'm so happy to be here. And I hope this will be like a very collaborative conversation because a lot of this is going to be show and tell. So if people have questions as we go along, that would be wonderful. But I have been designing websites for a very long time. I started back in 2004 and I tried so many different platforms. And it was when I became a health coach, which I'm no longer a health coach anymore, but I had to figure out how I was really going to embrace online marketing. And so it's not just about a pretty website, but it's about a pretty website that works. So, I needed the email marketing part. I needed the funnels, the just all the different pieces, the course hosting that needs to come together. And so for a while, I was on WordPress.org. I was hosting my own WordPress site. It was really pretty. I had a lot of students that were enrolled, and I was using a plugin in order to have them as students on my WordPress site. And then the creator of that plugin decided, you know what, we're not going to do this anymore. I'm going on a different venture. And that's kind of when I was left high and dry, like, oh my gosh, what do I do with all these students hosted on my site? And this plugin is no longer supported. And so that's when I decided I needed to find an all-in-one platform. I think it was around 2016, I can't remember, but that's when I did a tour of everything I could find. And I was looking for something that was cost effective. Obviously, that was a factor, but I also needed something that was powerful and reliable and felt intuitive. And to be completely honest, I never felt like all of those boxes were checked with any one platform that I found. And then I went offline for a little bit. I focused on my television work, and I was off the online marketing space for a bit. And in 2023, I came back, and that's when I discovered System.io. And at first, I was like, this seems too good to be true because the price is so like generous for what they offer. And in fact, the fact that you can start free, I hadn't seen before. I'd seen like a free trial, I'd seen like pay $1 for a month, but I hadn't seen such a generous free plan that you could stay on until you outgrew it. And so I signed up, I started poking around, and I was like, this actually isn't good to be true. I love this. I think this is where I want to stay. And so that's how my journey started. I started learning the builder. I started creating templates. And when I shared some of the templates I'd created in the Facebook community, I think that's how we connected, Heather. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly. Well, I saw your post in there and I was like, she has a template for a link in bio. Let me check this out. And so I ended up getting her link in bio template. And then I was on her email list and realized that, oh my gosh, she has an email or a website template. And I was getting ready to switch my website over from Wix because it was crazy expensive and extremely hard to navigate. So I looked at it and I was just like, oh my gosh, this is gorgeous. And it was so easy, so user friendly. So yeah, that is exactly how we got started together.
And you are a dream because I think I've told you, you have an eye for design. And you took that template, which wasn't exactly even designed for your niche, but you made it your own. And you did a great job. I'm very proud of you.
Well, you do what you got to do.
Yes, exactly, exactly. Yeah, so, if if anyone has questions at this point, or, um, I don't know how you want to kind of segue, but I can start showing some of the templates that I have and kind of the context of how it all came about.
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to mention is you had said that you were a health coach previously, and I don't know if that was something that initially like drew us together because that was my biggest struggle with having a website as a health coach myself,
Mhm.
not knowing how to get everything I needed on there. And so when you had said that you were a health coach, and I'm like, oh, she gets it. She understands. So
Yeah.
it was really awesome. But and then are you an author too?
So yes, it all goes under the umbrella of being creative, I think, and curious, having a curious mind. But yes, last year I published a book, and that's kind of why I love helping authors, and I went into the author space, but I'm definitely an entrepreneur at heart and know that world very well. And for a very long time, I was helping health coaches. Yeah.
Yeah. So it
Yeah.
was really interesting when I asked Maria, I said, I would really love for you to come in and talk to my community about this and showcase that author website. And she goes, how about I just make something specific for your community?
Mhm.
So she
Exactly.
created a whole brand new package, a
Mhm.
whole new template that is more specific to entrepreneurs and not so niche specific on authors. That way, you guys don't have to do as much tweaking as what I did. But I still, there's no way I could have done it without your template. No way.
Well, you're very kind. Thank you. You're like a dream person to have using the template because you're so can do. And so anyway, yes, that's exactly what happened. And as much as I'm happy for anyone to get the author one-page template, if that's what they want to choose, this is definitely more customized to entrepreneurs, and it's a full website so that you don't have to make your other pages like Heather did. But if you use System.io, and I'm going to show you some cool features about it that actually do make page creation pretty easy, right? Like Heather, the other day I showed you about saving sections
Yes.
as blocks, and now you can just like drag and drop them wherever you need them to go. And that's pretty awesome. So that's one thing that I notice about System.io. And I don't know how many of the attendees today are using it or have heard of it. Can you like raise your hand if you're using it? Let's see. You're using, okay, using it. All right. I see at least 2 people using it, and you, Heather, of course. Either way, it's designed in a way that to me stuck out because whatever you're doing, they were very thoughtful about the workflow. For instance, I have been designing funnels in other builders where if you want a coupon, you have to leave the funnel, go to a whole other tab, create your coupon, then figure out where you were in your funnel before. And it just was very clunky. It didn't feel like a seamless workflow. And so much of what System.io has created feels very user-friendly and seamless and intuitive. And that's what I really love about the platform. So I can show some examples of that. Are you ready for me to share the page?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, and at the same time, so this is going to be the template, the website template. At the same time that I'm showing this, if anybody has questions, I actually am more than happy to answer them while I'm doing or showing whatever it is, so that we stay in context. So if you can just keep an eye for any questions. So here we go. Let me just share my screen. And we're actually going to go right here to this template. Okay, can everyone see this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm just going to minimize this. All right, so this is the template that I designed for entrepreneurs, and it's actually modeled off after my own website, which is saracencreative.com. But you'll see here, it's a very kind of, I think it looks pretty, but it's also functional. So the first thing we typically want to do is try to entice people to get onto our email list. So you want to make that front and center whenever possible. And one thing I want to mention is that on System.io, a lot of people get confused about, where do I create my website? Do I create my website as a blog or a funnel? Because on System.io, they call websites blogs. Let me see if I can if you look under sites here, they have sales funnels, digital stores, and blogs. And a lot of people, when they see that, go, but I'm not building a blog. Like, that's not what I want. I want a website. But that's actually where it lives. Okay. So everything you're seeing here is under the blog title. But you can create posts or pages. And you do not need to create a funnel for your main website because a sales funnel should be very targeted at doing a specific thing, whether it's promoting an event, a webinar, selling something. You don't need to host your freebie on a funnel, and you don't need to make your website on a funnel. In fact, I don't think it's the best place to create a website, even though some people do that. So I don't know if I'm getting too far into the weeds here, but I just wanted to say that this is built on the blog setting here. Where was I? Right here. Okay. So this is the site, and I'm just going to scroll through it very quickly. But this is where you could highlight some of your services. You can introduce yourself. And then if you have any media mentions, accolades, anything like that could go here. Highlight a quote. And then, of course, you can show some of your products or services right here. Anything can be deleted, expanded, and of course, I always tell people when they're using templates, customize the heck out of your template. And to do that, you're going to want to know a little bit about, who you are and what your branding stands for. And branding might sound like a very kind of highfalutin technical term, but really it's just about knowing yourself and knowing that all your fonts, all your colors, all your visuals are communicating something. And so you want to make sure that what they're communicating is aligned with who you are and what you stand for and what you offer. So this is the main page over here, the home page. And then of course we have the about page, which is a very important page on any entrepreneur's website, because we as human beings are nosy and we want to know, especially if it's a personal brand, who are we working with? Who are we buying from? What are their credentials? And very early on, I heard the phrase that your about page is not actually about you. And I do believe that to a great degree. Your about page is not about, just, telling everyone everything about you. It's really about creating connection with your ideal customer and telling them, Yes, I understand where you are. I understand what your struggles are or what solutions you need because of my experience. And this is how I can help you. But it's really making that connection that's so important. So when you start right off the bat, you're going to want to create that empathy with them. And then over here, of course, you can tell them more about your life and your qualifications. Always pop in your opt-in form where possible so that you can entice them onto your email list. And then this is something that I like to do, and I noticed, Heather, you loved it too, so you're using it on your website. And
I stole your system.
And that's awesome. And I often get good feedback about this section because this is where you can be fun, where you can be human and playful. So if you go on my about page, and I'm not saying you should do that now, but later if you want to check it out, you'll see like I talk about how badly I sing and how I grew up on a game reserve in South Africa and my pets and all of that. So this is where you can just be very human and yourself. And it tends to get really good responses from my experience. And then this is just another opportunity to say, hey, let's connect. So again, everything on these templates I've created as thoughtfully as possible with as much marketing background and expertise as I have to help people know what to put where. Now on your services, this is where you can outline pretty much everything you offer. And System.io has the ability to have a calendar, so you could lead to a booking, like a scheduling calendar, or you could lead to a page that is a sales page. So you could, this could lead to like a sales funnel to purchase this service. Or it could lead to a separate page, which is the individual service page. And I do have that. I forget what the link is for that, but there is a page I've created just for one service at a time. And then if you had low ticket offers, so let's say you had, courses or something more substantial here that you're showing, you could show lower ticket offers here if you have them, things that are, between $10 to $27 or something that don't need a ton of explanation or selling, but would probably lead to their own sales pages. And then, yeah, just some parting benefits and call to actions can go here. Let me see. This is the blog. So you do have the ability, obviously, to have a blog on your blog. And it's great for SEO. So if you can, have just at least a few posts to begin with, that would be great. And then, of course, a way to connect here. Frequently asked questions tend to be helpful in case people are, connecting about things that others typically ask. And then free resources is always a great place to send people as well. I put a little emoji on this menu item to call attention to it. And this is where you could put, instead of just, for instance, this one freebie here, if you are feeling ambitious, you can have a variety of freebies depending on people's real interests. Like if you're a health coach, maybe you find that you're getting different types of people coming to you in your niche, and different gifts might be of value to them, just as an example. And then this is also a place where you could put your affiliate products that you promote and love and use. And, you could say these are not free, they're still awesome. And, I always disclose affiliate relationships. And yeah, and then heads to the affiliate product. So that's pretty much what we have in this. Do you have any questions while we're going through it? Anybody?
I'm just checking the chat. I don't have any questions in the chat.
Maria, I recently went through the certification course, and for a lot of the people that are on the call right now, I think they've really literally just dipped their toes into the water with System.io. With the program that a lot of us have purchased into, we're really just looking at the dashboard on System.io, what's coming in that's already been given to us as a plug and play system. Could you just maybe go through some of the building blocks as you mentioned before? I'm getting a bit of feedback here. Just how the building blocks work. Maybe take us through just one or two processes of the easy placing of the building blocks just for the actual homepage building and the blog building.
Okay, sure. So let me show you something. For people who want this template, there is a portal, okay? And in order to upload this template into your System.io account, it is as simple as going into the module. Okay, so basically, these are all my videos explaining people how to set everything up. They're pretty much bite-sized videos. What do you do if you already have a System.io website? So I explained that. But for this template, all you have to do is click on this one link for it to load into your System.io site. So that is pretty awesome, or to your account. So once it loads, and it'll be listed under your blogs, you literally go into it. So it's the full, oops, this is the full website for authors. This is incorrect. Let me go here. This is it, okay? So this is the System Business website template. So you have your posts here and your pages. But let me take you to the homepage. And what I absolutely love is that they make it so easy. So for instance, let's say you love this and you don't want to recreate it on every page. So what you would do is you go and you click on the save button, you title it as opt-in form or whatever you want to call it. And then you just hit create. Now, this option to make it a master block means that if you save a section and you save it as a master block, if you change the section on one page, it's going to change on every page that you've used it. So typically speaking, you would not want to use that feature unless you're sure that you want it universally changed. So like a footer might make sense. Let's say you're saving a footer section somewhere, or just something that needs to stay uniform, then you check the master block. Okay, so we're going to create this, okay? And then obviously you can customize everything here. Is there anything in particular, John, that you would want me to speak about on this page?
No, you're actually in just the right place, because I was wanting to see that toolbar on the left-hand side, just so that some of the viewers can understand just how simple System.io works, that you can sort of grab a heading to the left, shift it over, completely personalize it in your text, font, etc. And that it's really not a matter of coding or doing like deep development sort of tools. It is really that easy to plug and play. Using your templates alongside with your explanatory videos, as you've just said, Maria, it's really just a matter of going to the sidebar, pulling it over across to the highlighted block that you're wanting it, having the image response and the text fonts, everything laid out the way you're wanting it to, and then saving it. And then just to reiterate what you've told us about the block settings as well, should it be something that you've got on multiple pages and you've got that piece of the page then completely refined, you can save it as a master block, and it'll then change it all across the other pages. So you don't have to go through all 5-10 pages to go and change the little details. Once it's saved as a master block, it's then sort of across the board.
Yep.
Thank you. Very clear.
Yeah. And so it's very clean. It looks very easy to navigate. It is very easy to navigate. And also it's just, you can duplicate things so easily. Like, let's say you like this and let's say you like this section and you just want to reformat it. You copy it, boom, it's right here. Now, instead of having it like that, it's there, but you can just very quickly just create a whole new section, but without starting all over. Everything's formatted as you want, the colors, the fonts, everything is exactly as you want it. You just duplicate. So the other thing I want to mention is that all of these graphics you see here are provided as Canva files in my template. So people can use as much of what I have and customize it as they want, but I also create other designs in many cases so that they can, like for instance, these types of images where, you're showing yourself or whatever you want to showcase, there are many different designs, not just this one, so that people have options. And again, I really encourage them to customize as much as possible. So let's say you are a health coach, you could put a green smoothie there and some berries or whatever, so that it looks unique to your brand. That's, and it's super easy to do in Canva. You just import the image back here in System.io and you're good to go. It looks different and beautiful. And it's just a very fast way to design and make things look pretty. So now I'm going to just exit this page. I am not going to save it, but I'm going to show you how that block works on something else. So let's say we're in free resources, okay? And we've decided that instead of this, maybe we want to use the opt-in form here, which wouldn't necessarily make sense because we already have freebie gifts here anyway, but I just want to show you the mechanism. You literally go into my blocks. This is my master blocks if you check that box, but my blocks go in a separate, heading, the ones that aren't master. And then you just drag and drop it and boom, just like that, there is that beautiful section. So it's so easy to create more pages, to customize pages. Yeah, I love it. I love it. And the one thing I will say is when I was using WordPress, that was incredibly customizable as an editor. Like I was using Divi, the Divi theme in WordPress, and they have all sorts of fancy things you can do with your website. Like this could dissolve in, and you can have flying boxes, and you can have all these cool effects. But at the end of the day, effective marketing isn't about cool effects. It's about a clean design that is easy to navigate. And System.io absolutely checks that box for me.
Well,
So
when you combine system.io or system, I always say system.io. I got to get better at that. It's not that. It's system.io.
that's okay.
When you combine system.io with your Canva templates and your actual template for inside there, it just makes it so easy. The thing that was when you come from someone like myself who is design challenged, having those templates in Canva is like, okay, I can see how she's layering this together now, and I can see how to become more creative with my own flair with it. And so then it was, just like you said with like for the health coaches putting in the green smoothie. For myself, I'm talking to stay-at-home moms, so I'm like, I'm putting in the coffee here because that's kind of, I'm always drinking coffee. And in my community, we have, the Moms Unfiltered call. So we're always talking about that kind of stuff and just making it so that when someone comes to your web page, that it really feels like they're walking into your home. So they know who you are.
Absolutely, yeah. And you have your very signature colors, it's definitely your website, which I love. So now I will share the link in bio page if that helps. And that was your entry point, Heather, right? That's what
Oh,
you said
yes.
that, yeah. Okay,
Yep.
so this was the website. And if anyone has questions, again, please feel free to ask. John, I love your questions. And I hope I satisfied what you wanted me to show. We're good?
Hi, Maria.
Yes,
Sorry.
sure.
I don't know if I'm jumping the gun a bit, but I'm just wondering, I mostly work from my laptop or my desktop at least 90% of the time. But if you look at, let's say, somebody's website from a cell phone compared to a computer, what do I need to take into account so that either way that everything is like nicely aligned and clear and like the flow is the same as you would do from your desktop, because that's what's boggling me a bit.
Okay,
That's an
I
excellent
love
question.
that
Great question. Mobile
Yeah.
responsiveness.
So
Yeah.
here we go. Okay, so with this template, do you see how there's a background here? And when we click on, this is the mobile view in System.io, and it is your best friend. You absolutely, when you're designing anything, need to check that it's looking good on mobile view. So as you will see, this is a different image that I've put here that is customized for mobile view. So I combed through every single page to make sure that things looked good on mobile. And most of the time, what you see here, if it's looking good in this view, it's going to look good on a mobile device. That said, you really should also check on your actual phone, on a tablet, if you're using a tablet, whatever it is that you want to double check. I highly recommend that you do that. But I have gone and done all of the preliminary work of making sure that your template will look nice in mobile view.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Okay, sure. And that was an excellent question. Thank you.
When
Thanks.
you're looking at those mobile views, there's times that I've noticed, and maybe it's because I'm not setting it up correctly. There's times where I've noticed I will go in to adjust something on mobile view, and then it goes back and it readjusts it on the main view. And I'm like, well, I don't want it to be switched on the main view. I want it to be, I don't know how else to explain it other than like maybe centering it on the mobile version where it's not centered on the desktop kind of a thing.
So if I
Got
can
it.
just interject, just with design concepts as well, we've got what we call breakpoints. So when you've got your mobile response on the one side and you've got your desktop layout on the one side, it's always a good idea to minimize the page and then grab the bottom of the page and try and scroll it. And you'll see it'll get to a point where eventually the text and everything will just click into place. That's mobile responsiveness. Okay, so you need to make sure that when you make the screen larger and smaller on desktop, that text stays the same, and then that reflects the same way into your mobile, onto the mobile devices. It's a very, very tricky and like in-depth thing, but a good way to do it is once you've got your final layout, then you go into the page before it goes live and it's still in draft mode, and you just minimize your screen so that you make your browser smaller, and you grab it and you just drag it in like that, and then you'll see where the text goes to, and that it's not all janky and everything as well.
Okay, I didn't even know that trick, John. I'm listening to you say
I'm only telling you what my devs have told me. I don't build these things.
Okay, but
Yeah,
interesting.
that is a learning curve for me
That's
too.
actually a perfect example, because here, that's fascinating. I didn't know that. So let's say we're there where you can see this is the background, and then I'm going to move it, and very quickly it moves into the mobile
See,
view
now it's
design.
responding.
It's
But sometimes
responding.
if your design isn't right, then when it gets to that break point, then your paragraphs are all over the place, and like sometimes even your images, especially video, like the video will like scroll, it'll get all janky. So that's just a good exercise to do, to check the sizing on the browser. It also depends on what screen you're viewing it on. So if you're viewing it on a huge screen on a desktop versus like what I'm doing on an 18-inch like MacBook here, it also depends. So
Yeah.
be careful if you're making stuff for clients that you check that mobile responsiveness, because you don't want to put something on a client's different screen and it hits their table and it just looks like all over the place.
Absolutely. Couldn't
So
agree
check
more.
with,
So
yeah,
yeah, that's a
check
great
with
tip.
if you're building for a client, check what screen size they're using so that you could
Mhm.
just try and match it to that.
Mhm. And Heather, to your point, when you're changing things in the mobile view, you typically do see little icons which will show that this is just for mobile that you're changing. I have, and the alignment even should be just for mobile. If it has a little icon like that, but what I've noticed obviously are line breaks. If you change like, let's say I wanted this like that here, right? It will change that in the desktop view as well. It moves.
Okay, maybe that's what I was doing. That
So
could have been.
yes, but then when I go here, okay, so it obviously there isn't as much space, so it automatically does it. But that might be what it is. Like line breaks and things like that will affect both. Obviously, if you make text bold or a certain color, it'll apply to both. But when you're actually doing these different thing, and I think the font type will apply to both as well, because we're not seeing just the little mobile icon here. If you see only that, it should only affect your mobile view.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
All right. So now I will show you the link in bio page. And so with the System.io basic plan, you get 1 free website and 3 free funnels. So at the time that we're recording this, I don't know what they'll do in the future, but with funnels, you can create this link in bio page as a funnel. And the reason you would do that is because unlike this page, which has a header or like a menu bar and a footer, this link in bio page designed as a funnel does not. And the point of it is to keep it very simple and very targeted to your most important information. And the reason to use a link in bio page is because in social media like Instagram and I think TikTok, I don't use TikTok, but they allow you to have one link in your bio, right, John?
Mhm.
Correct.
Yep.
And so when you have just that one thing that's available to you to use, instead of sending people to a website, which might be beautiful, but not necessarily that targeted, you can send them to a link in bio page and you put your most important thing that you want people to do front and center. And, obviously a little bit about yourself. It could be to opt into your freebie, your lead magnet. That might be the most important thing if you're growing your email list. If you're hosting an event, you might want to put that front and center, whatever the case may be. And then, of course, if you want, you can add some more offers here, introduce yourself, and then have some important links that may be relevant to people,
That's nice, yeah.
maybe what they're looking for. But this keeps it very simple and targeted. Now, if you did not want to use a funnel, because you only get 3, and if you did not want to use one of those 3 funnels, in my link in bio page how-to video, I explain how to save this entire thing as a section. You save it as a block because this entire link in bio page is one section. So it's super easy to do. And then you would just go into your website, create a new page, and pop that entire section, which encompasses all of this, into your website. And then the only difference would be that your link in bio page would have the menu and the footer. Okay, but you'd be preserving one of your funnels if you wanted to do that. But the beauty of it is that you don't have to go and subscribe to a whole other service. You can do all this with your one System.io account. You don't need multiple services to do this. And then with this link in bio page, there's also a thank you page that would be the next step in the funnel. And you would basically just have this lead from this page to the thank you page. Once people opt into your free gift or they sign up for your event or whatever it is, it's just a nice place for them to land to let them know that they were successful in whatever they were doing. If you were to host your link in bio page on your blog, or even in the case of the lead magnet checklist, or whatever your lead magnet is, you would also have a thank you page that people land on. And I've created that template in the entire website template kit.
Wonderful.
We do have a question. Melissa has a question. If you want to unmute Melissa and ask your question.
Sure, thank you. I joined late, so if this has already been said, I apologize and I can watch the replay. So like you, I am currently on WordPress through Bluehost.
Okay.
Would I have to recreate everything, or does it just transfer?
Okay, so no. So you're saying you want to stay on WordPress, right?
This looks like it could replace what I have.
Okay. If you want to stay on WordPress, then I would say no, you can't really use this easily because it's designed for System.io. If you want to move from WordPress to System.io, then yes, absolutely. You have several options. What I would recommend is creating, when you sign up for System.io, they'll give you your own subdomain. So you can basically build your website on that until you're ready to move it over to your main domain. So not to get too far into the weeds, what you could do is take the images and text and everything you have on your WordPress site and just reformat it in this template or whatever template you choose to create your new website. But the beauty of it is, as someone who was on WordPress before, is that you don't have all that site maintenance and the updates and all the things that, some people just are like, oh, I've had enough of all this maintenance and having it on my shoulders. With System.io, they're taking care of everything on the back end. Are you there, Melissa?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Did that answer your question?
Yes, it did.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, great.
The other thing that I would like you to speak about just real quick is the importance of when you're creating your brand. I know there's a lot of us that start out with Linktree and the campsite bio, I think is what it is, or even Samcart. not Samcart, Stan Store, using those link platforms versus having your own branded link in bio page, because then you're bringing them constantly back to your brand and your space. Versus the other thing is too, is I know that on, I want to say it's TikTok, if you're using Linktree as your link in bio, a lot of times it will cause problems for your visibility on the platform.
Okay. That's interesting. Yeah. Yeah. And you're right. Your link in bio page would be literally whatever your root domain is / and whatever you call your link in bio page, which is possibly link in bio. So yeah, it would be branded with your domain name.
So I think just for new beginners, sorry to interrupt, that are building this out for the very first time, much the same as what Heather did as well. If you're a complete beginner, let's maybe have a look at the link in bio first. If you've got existing stuff that's happening on social media, I know with Instagram, you can add up about 4 different social media pages, and on TikTok, you can add just the one. But maybe a good roadmap would be build out the link in bio page first, place that, learn the ropes through the link in bio page, and from there move on to the multi-contextual pages.
Yeah, that's a great suggestion, John, because if a full site feels like, oh boy, that feels like a big project, the link in bio is super quick and easy to customize, and it's a hardworking page if you use it well. So
absolutely.
yeah.
I mean, that's just exactly where I'm at the moment. I had a specialist implement my website for me, and I've got devs doing my other sites for me. So I really don't know anything about website development. I'm purely suit client facing, and I've gotten quite good at the social media creative, and I've got quite a good design line of things, but it's still daunting. Even having completed the System IO certification, you sit and you think about this, and you're like, if I mess this up, then the site is going right down the toilet. So it's daunting. It really is.
Okay.
If you are someone who's going to be building out a website at some point, though, I would look into the full website bundle, because the link in bio is part of that bundle. So you can still start with the link in bio, get really comfortable with that, but you'll still have everything else so that when you're ready, you can move forward with it without having to worry about coming back and trying to figure out where you got it from or any of that.
My apologies. I didn't even realize that I was talking about a bundle. I was just looking at line of sight for projects. So I'm sorry for lowballing anyone there.
No, not at all. Listen, we're here to offer like practical solutions. We're not here to, to promote things that people don't want or need.
Yes.
But what Heather said is true. So here, we'll do a little spoiler alert. There is a bundle offer of all these things. And basically, I created it to be as helpful to entrepreneurs as possible starting out of the gate. So it is the entire website, and you don't have to use every page on this website that's created. It's something that you can keep in your back pocket. Like, let's say, let me just go out of the editor here. I hope I didn't change anything. I don't think I did. Okay, so I'm just going to exit the page. But you do not have to use every single page that's here. Okay, so we've got also another thing that's very important is when you're running a business, it's really important to have the required legal pages on your site. So a disclaimer, privacy policy, terms of use, all that good stuff. You want to start off on the right foot so that, you're just well protected, whatever it is that you're doing and you're following the law. So these pages have been created as placeholders, okay? Just so you know that they exist and they're there ready for you to customize. So we have that. We have, I'm just going to go to 25, the home page, the post list page. This is when you are writing blog posts and you basically want to share everything that you've written. This page is nicely styled so that all your blog posts will show up right over there. You have an individual service page. So again, as I said, if you have a service you want to highlight and really go in depth with, that's the page you would use. There's even a search page, which just comes with all System IO websites, and that's where people can search for any particular keyword. The free resources, all of these I've shown you. And so the bottom line is, even though all these pages exist, you do not have to use them right out of the gate. And you can absolutely customize your menu so that it reflects what you're using. And then the other stuff will just be hidden and available, or you can even delete those pages. If you want to duplicate anything, it's as simple as clicking duplicate, and that page will duplicate, and then you can customize it to be whatever it is you want. So like, for instance, there is a thank you page. Oh, there should be, am I now? Freebie thank you, okay? So let me just show you what this looks like. So this is where people land once they've opted into whatever you're giving them, or signed up for a webinar, or whatever it is that you want to do. So what you would do here is you just duplicate it, and you can now have a freebie thank you page for multiple things on your site, not just, it doesn't just have to be one page. So again, very easy to duplicate, customize, and this is the link in bio, as we explained, the thank you page example. And then what I have bundled with these two things is a lead magnet template in Canva. And this is what the lead magnet template looks like. It has 60 designs, 60 pages with different designs, depending on what it is that you want to promote for your lead magnet. And so this is just very versatile for whether you need worksheets, workbooks, there's recipe pages, there are resource pages, testimonials, all kinds of layouts, so that you can get up and running fast and basically create a website, a lead magnet, and a link in bio page with a lead magnet potentially as quickly as possible. Does that all make sense?
I like the idea of having, you know, like you said, even if you don't use all of the pages, me personally, I would caution you from deleting anything, because I've done that before, and then I've gone back a couple months later going, oh, shoot, I wish I wouldn't have deleted that because I could use it now.
Yes, indeed. And so the good news is that you will always have the link to the original template, if, like, assuming you're using one of my templates. But the bad news is that if you are on the freemium plan, you can only have one website at a time. So that's where it's not easy to just have both templates up and then you can like grab that page back. There are ways around it, but yes, Heather, I think that's a really good tip, is probably don't delete anything, you know, because you may need it further down the line. Or if you do choose to delete it, then at least save the blocks that you might want to use in future.
Yeah.
So, and then lastly, the other template I have, and this is an optional template, it's not part of the package, but this is a business landing page template. So right now, the example of it is the same lead magnet image that I had on the website here. But you really do not have to use a funnel, in my opinion, for a lead magnet, because you can do that on your homepage and you can do that on your link in bio page. I would save this other template, this other funnel, for something that's very specific and targeted. So for instance, if you were hosting a talk like Heather and John are today, you could create an opt-in page for your talk. It's very targeted right here. Explain why people should sign up, have a testimonial or whatever, and explain to people, you know, just basically make a case why it's a great idea to get the thing or do the thing. And so that's what I would save a funnel like this for. You can also use funnels to sell things. Okay, that's what they're made for. They're sales funnels. And I'm going to just show you the back end here. I have something called the bestseller brand blueprint. And so basically I have my order page that goes into an upsell, that goes into a thank you page. And then I basically duplicated this, because you can duplicate pages super easily. You can even move them from one funnel to another, which is amazing. I love that. So I duplicated this core funnel of the sale, the order form, the upsell, and the thank you page. And over here, it's the same thing, but it's for a limited time amount that previous customers get off. Okay, so like if they already bought something, they have a limited time to get a discount because they're already a customer. And so this funnel just duplicates again. So it's a really nice thing to have up your sleeve for when you're doing specialized events or when you're ready to sell a course, a product, whatever it is that you're doing. The funnels are very, very useful. And they're also incredibly intuitive when you set them up, because everything is on this kind of interface here. You've got the whole configuration of the funnel. So you can give affiliate commissions. You can choose your offer type. This is a course. And then these are all the modules in the course, but I have only given partial access for one price point. And then for another price point, they get the rest of what's in the course. So again, it's just so versatile. I don't want to make people's heads, I don't want to give anyone a headache by all the things you can do, but it's just very powerful, and it's intuitive in the sense that you configure things here. If you want to create a coupon, you can create it right here. You don't have to leave this funnel, go to the coupon creation page, even though there is one, but you don't have to do that. You can do it all right here, which I love about System.io, because other platforms I was using was making me leave the funnel, go find the coupons, create the coupons, then figure out where I was before. And it's frustrating. And this is just so much easier. The other thing they do very easily here is that you can automate your funnels. So, and you can even automate things in your website. So for instance, when you're setting up this form and you're configuring the button, you can choose to create an automation when someone clicks on this button. And what I highly recommend people do with their one automation, because in the free package, the freemium tier of System.io, you get one automation, which is, you know, I could use a lot more than one. So if you're just starting out and you just get one, what I would do is automate this button to instantly deliver people into your nurture sequence campaign. And what that is basically a campaign that says, thank you so much for claiming whatever my freebie was. Here is a link to get it. Even though they'll land up on a thank you page where you can deliver this, you can also send them a nice email saying, here's the link to get it if you need it in future. And then you introduce yourself, and then over a series of 5 to 7 emails, you really get to develop a relationship with them, telling them who you are, what you do, how you can help, how you empathize, all those things. And so that automation is very valuable for triggering the nurture sequence campaign as soon as somebody signs up to your list. So
Absolutely.
as I was showing you here with the sales funnels, this is where you can make it happen. You don't have to go out of the funnel. It's right here in this control panel where you go add a rule, and the trigger is when a page is visited, or I already have some of these. I have when a form is subscribed, okay? When somebody subscribes to the form on this page, the instant action will be that a tag is added as a bestseller brand blueprint lead. But I could also add a whole series of other things that could happen. So for instance, they get subscribed to a campaign. It could be my nurture sequence campaign, or my some other type of campaign. There are many different kinds that you can deploy. You can add a tag, remove a tag, send them an email specifically, enroll them in a course. There's just so many options here. So yeah, I think what the main thing I want to impart is that it's intuitive, it's feature rich, and it will grow with your business depending on what you're doing.
One of the things that I do love, and I'm not taking advantage of it because I am on the first tier of system, and I'm so close to needing the next tier because I'm trying to automate literally everything. But when you have someone who opts into your funnel, let's say you're selling a course and they opt into your funnel, but they haven't bought yet. So they're in your nurture series, and you're just kind of getting them to know who you are and what this funnel and this course is all about. And so they've gotten, say, the first 7 emails, and then all of a sudden they buy. You can use those automations to say, oh, she bought now. Let's take her out of this email sequence and we'll put her in a different one. That way they're not getting all of these emails that says, hey, will you buy this product when you've already bought it? So and just another thing that there's so many different automation things that you can do with System. It's really an awesome platform. The other thing is when you do become part of Maria's world, meaning that you have opted into her emails, she sends out all of these amazing emails that really help you up level your website and your emails. One of the other things that I happened to see come through when I was on her email list was the 404 page, which most people don't even think about. And when I saw that, I was like, I need to implement this right away, because when you get someone into your world and they all of a sudden click a link that maybe is dead, you don't want them to think that you are out of business. You want them to realize that, hey, you just, oops, went to the wrong space. Let me help redirect you. So I don't know, Maria, if you want to show your 404.
Sure. And can I ask you, was I telling you all that stuff about automations without sharing my screen?
No, you had it up.
Oh, thank goodness. Okay. Because I was like, that would have made no sense whatsoever. Okay. There we go. So, all right. So let me do a 404 page. So let me just do, oops. Okay. That this page does not exist. I actually did ops, but that's okay. So basically, when somebody puts in types in the wrong URL, or I've provided a link that is broken, this is where they would end up on my business website. And it's a 404 page, it's an error page, and it basically just says, whoops, it looks like your brand adventure took an unexpected detour. You can do anything here. So just my policy is, instead of frustrating your visitors, delight them in some way. It could be just by being witty, funny, saying, oh, I'm sorry you landed on the wrong page, but let me reward you with this secret, insider. Like, make it fun. Like, they discovered something that, maybe they shouldn't have, but now they're gonna, get a reward for it. Here, because I'm in branding, I just decided to make it playful, pick a color to see where you land up. And so when they click on a color, they land up on the craft a brand page. So this is my services page. If they clicked another color, they would have landed up somewhere else. So again, just delight them instead of frustrate them. Unfortunately, this is not a template I could create inside my blog template, because it's something that you configure under your settings page. When you go on your website, you can click on that particular domain, and that's where you can configure your 404 page.
I still think it's super helpful though, because I mean, when you land on someone's page and you type it in, maybe you transpose a couple of the letters or something, and then all of a sudden you get to a 404, you start to wonder, you're like, well, is this a legitimate company? And it was your error. It wasn't even theirs. Or they click on a link, like you said, that just was from an event, maybe that was 3 months ago. And so it's not there anymore. Instead of causing them to go, okay, well, I guess this isn't here anymore, you can redirect that traffic back to what is available, or what the next step is, or get back on my email list so that I can let you know what to do.
Exactly.
I think that Maria's just designed it so beautifully, because the user journey just goes from oops to sort of, oh no, did I make the mistake? Is this a website mistake? Is this business legitimate? To a nice little sort of quizzy style thing that just puts you back into either top or middle of funnel. That's remarkable.
Thank you. It's not original, but I definitely love promoting it, and I like having fun. And I think the most it's awesome when you can find ways to have fun with your website and your business.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love that.
Well, yeah. Does anybody have any questions before we close out? The time flew.
I am going to go ahead and put the link to the offers in the comments, but before I do so, if you are here from John's community, please go back to his community to get his link for these offers. I just want to share them here so that you have them if you are a part of my community. This is for the main website, the bigger package.
Do you mind if I quickly show people very quickly, Heather?
Yeah, go for it.
I'm just going to show them exactly what's inside because I think that's helpful. So I'm not going to take you to the sales page. I'm going to take you to the actual portal. And basically, just very, very quickly, you're going to have your welcome video introduction from me. And this is a suggested step infographic, just so you don't ever feel lost. That's my goal here. There's also a quick start guide setting up your domain and verifying your email. System.io, as John has mentioned, has a fantastic certification program. Can I be honest? I've never actually done the full thing. I just started 2 or 3 years ago and I just dove in and I figured it out. So you don't have to take the certification, but you certainly have to figure out how you're doing everything that you want to do. So they have a lot of help pages for that, and they have an excellent customer support team as far as I've experienced. They're very responsive. And so all these resources together should help you get up and running fast on System.io. That said, sometimes people have gotten a little confused as to the setting up domain and verifying email part. So I created 2 videos to just help simplify that if they're of any additional help. And then, of course, we have the meat and potatoes, which is the actual template itself. So this takes you through step by step. Obviously, you need a System.io account. You can start with how to create a website if you don't know anything about it. And then, of course, their certification course is linked here. Then we have step 2, which is the one-click installation link. So this is the magic of System.io, where it's not like you have to do anything complicated to get the template into your account. You literally click on this link and there it is, okay? So, and then I do also explain what to do if you already have a System.io website. So that is an important consideration if you do have one and you're on the freemium plan. Step 3 is basically how to customize this blog step by step. Now, these videos are based on my author 5-page template, but it's the same principles that apply. So you're going to learn how to fix or configure, not fix, but configure your blog settings, your blog layout, post, all these things are step by step for you right here. I talk a bit about automations and also backing up your site, which is literally just saving the link to the site that you've created. That's all you have to do, save it somewhere safe. So if your site ever disappeared, you could click on that link and reinstall it. And then these are some Canva tutorials on how to use some of the template links that I've provided for you right here. So as I mentioned, everything you see is basically provided as a Canva template. So you would get different designs here, okay, so that you can go ahead and customize something that feels as close to your branding and style as possible. And then more resources. And again, this is the link in bio template, the lead magnet template. And if you choose to get the landing page funnel template, you would get that too. All of these have instructions and how-to videos that go with them. So I just wanted to show you what you would be getting if you're interested.
Thank
Maria,
you for
I'm just having a
showing
look at
that.
that now. And,
Oh,
having, as you've mentioned, gone through the certification course, your templates and your layout and the bundle that you've got here looks 100% more easy, user-friendly, just to follow. Because I mean, I'm not just saying that like sort of, but when I did the certification course, you jump onto a video that's been pre-recorded, and this woman just starts rambling at you, and you're like, okay, where are we? Like, which part of the forest are we even in? You know. So this looks far more cohesive.
Okay.
Really, it does.
Good. Well, Heather can tell you whether it works or not because she went through it. But that is my ultimate goal is, and also some of these are long, but some of these are like 2:58, 4:43. We're not talking hours here. This is a minute and 33, you know? So I'm very conscious of people's time and not telling them more than they need to know, but telling them enough. Heather, did you honestly find it? I mean, you already knew System.io before you dove into my template, but
So I started out with a different link in bio template, and I was blown away because I've gotten templates from other people before, and it's here's your template, it uploads into system, and now it's figure it out on your own. And when I got this template from her, and then all of a sudden this whole layout like popped up, and I'm looking through, I'm going, oh my gosh, there's literally a video that walks you through everything. It was the easiest thing that I have ever had to put together. I got my website moved over from Wix once I actually did the website, not the link in bio, but once I did the website, I got my Wix website moved over to System.io in 2 days because of her template. It was so easy. And with the videos, it showed everything. It was just, that's why I had to bring her here today, because this was the easiest thing. If there was an easy button, I'd be pushing it.
That's so great to hear. Yeah. And honestly, I am here. This is definitely a DIY option, but I am here to support people. If anything is missing, like if there's any missing link, I am here and receptive to helping and answering questions and all that good stuff. So, but I'm happy yeah, I love you, Heather. And I think the people that do the best with these types of products are people who can do, I'm going to figure this out, but the help just takes you so much further. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. For sure. But I had so much fun going through the training because I did learn a lot of different things that I didn't realize I could do. So I started out with what your recommendation was in your course, which was to go through and get certified through System. And so I did do that. And then I came back to the course and I still learned more through your course, even than what was in System. So there's an added benefit to going through and just watching the videos that you have. You really get to know the back end side of System and your own personal website and what you can and not I don't want to say can't do, because there really isn't much that you can't do with System.
But I mean, you can see it right away from her layout right there and there. I mean, I've just had 1 5-minute look at the layout of it, and I'm like, this is so much easier to run. They're looking at all of those blue and white panels and listening to this badly edited woman's voice that's like sort of all over the place on a recording. And I literally had to chat GPT every jingle transcripts just to figure out by module 4 where I was.
Okay.
So this
Yeah.
looks far easier. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, well, that's good to hear. And yes, I've tried to make it that way for sure.
Well,
So,
before we close out, I just would like to know from you, Maria, if you could give someone who is brand new, who's never done a website before, who's looking at starting their website for the very first time, if you could give them 3 pieces of advice, what would those 3 pieces be?
understand exactly what you're trying to accomplish with your website. Like, what is your website what is it for? I would also say that if you're doing online marketing, building an email list is probably your priority. So that is probably one of the main things your website should be focusing on. And also, can I do 4?
Yeah, absolutely.
The know yourself, and you don't have to have this beautiful polished brand that looks like a multi-million-dollar brand, but know who you are and what you stand for, and then try to make all your copy and your visuals align with that. Like that is kind of the baseline for where you should start with branding. Is just if you love hot pink or mustard or whatever colors you love, is that really representing you? And that's fine if it is. Like those colors can fit in beautifully in various brands. But like, is that really representing you? And is it also appealing to your ideal customer? That's very important too. Like those 2 pieces. Who are you and who is your ideal customer? And then lastly, simplicity is often like the best way to go. So don't clutter your website with everything. Have lots of white space and make it easy for people to navigate and, really see what's what. Don't just throw everything in. Yeah.
Yeah, I have to go back in and fix mine.
It's interesting that you talk about the white space like that, because I mean, when we look at normal design features on short format static imagery, it's like no white space. And yet when you're on a website, you want that bit of room to breathe, because you're literally looking straight at the screen and you don't want to feel overwhelmed.
Yeah.
That's completely different design concept.
Yeah. Yeah, you want resting places for the eyes. So yeah.
That's interesting. I'm going to keep that in mind. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, we are going to make sure that the replay is available both in Wilder Profits as well as in the ThriveLine Circle. So if you want to go back in, if you missed the beginning, or if you just want to go back in and kind of dive deep into what Maria was talking about, again, those replays will be up momentarily. Give me until the end of the day. But I will get them up shortly. And then Maria, just thank you so much. I was so excited when you came back and said that you were going to be here. I was like a little girl in a candy shop. I was so excited.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Honestly, I love, I love helping people, and I love it when I get to engage with such wonderful people like all of you. So thank you.